I think somebody asked about, like, is there an actual exercise we can do to prepare once we're in the position? For this particular task, bridging is a functional and also, a way that we can actually prepare them for the task of scooting, right? We're working on strengthening, it's functional, and also we can kind of scoot as a result. So let's say we're working on scooting from the lowers, right? I've kind of done my work. You had a good night last night? Yeah? Did you take your pain meds already? Right? He's all set up. I'm doing the same thing in the lowers, right? We're kind of giving a little bit of flexion. Maybe I'm doing it this way or this way, right? And I'm getting him in a good weight-bearing position, right? And then this side's your strong side, so can you flex that up? And can you position your hand so it's down at your side? So we're gonna work on a bridging task, and this is gonna work on strengthening. And that also the purpose of the task is so we can kind of get you a little bit up in the bed. It's easier for you to move around a bit. So we did all our prep work that we talked about to get him in this position, right? So from here, then we're gonna work on the position. Now there's a couple things, right? Hopefully our prep work helped him to maintain this weight-bearing position and I don't have to actually hold it down. And if that's the case, right, he's staying nicely, and maybe I'm just gonna be helping him with the actual bridging aspect of it. So try to lift your hips up, good. And this is more, I'm facilitating that, right? So I can help him with the lift portion if he needs help with it. What if he did this really well? What's a strengthening technique that I can work on to improve his strength in this position? So if I'm helping him with the lift because he can't do it well, what might I do as an opposing thing if he's really good at it? Yeah, I might give some resistance, right? So I might just work on, all right, push up, very good. So that would be like a progression if he was able to do it well, but maybe I wanted a little more lift off. I wanted him to do it a little more efficiently, something along those lines, right? Now, sometimes in these positions, the leg will be prepped, but it won't necessarily stay here, especially if we have a hypertonic leg that you really need to work on. So how you can see the therapist is positioned here is she might be holding that foot down and she might provide a little bit of distraction now, right? So we talked about the approximation might help with the flexion. Now we want the extension, but we want it in a controlled way. So we might kind of give some help here. Go ahead and lift up. Good. So I might give a little bit of distraction here to help with the bridge. I might have to come on the mat. Hopefully this doesn't have a low weight capacity. And then I might kind of help this way. If both sides needed a little bit of help, right? I'm providing a little distraction because now I want the extension. So this is, again, still kind of part task practice. This isn't the actual scoot, but if he tries to scoot, try to scoot up in the bed without lifting your hips up. Yeah. So we'll get into the uppers, but if you can't do that either, it's harder, right? And then we would expect like your legs to kick out as well. So the more lift off he can get in the hips, the easier his scoot is going to be back, right? I think, in the picture here, I typically find that I need to have both hands on the knees in order to get like a good lift off in the hip. So if I only have one hand here and I'm trying to facilitate this, I don't feel like I'm, if he really can't help me much where he needs that, I'm not going to really be able to get really high. So this time don't help me at all. So it's really going to be a little harder if one hand's here, where if I have two hands here, I can really pull back and you can feel the hip coming up a little more this way. So then I might have him join in, try to lift your hip up. I might come from this angle, right? So these are all suggestions. There's no roadmap in physical therapy. Everybody's body's different, everybody's abilities are different, but you kind of want to be in places where you can move in the direction that you want the person to move in. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. So when we go to the next slide, then we'll practice the actual scoot. This is another